Welcome to the Hotter Than Health podcast. My name is Eliza Gelman, and in this podcast, I will be bringing resources and stories for those looking to expand and elevate their lives, bringing you provocative interviews and conversations with leaders and innovators within the wellness, health, business, and self-improvement space every week. You will leave every single episode with tools, resources, and tips that you can implement directly into your life. Who doesn't love a good takeaway? Hello, happy Thursday. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Hotter Than Health. It is a good one. I love this episode. Today we have Amelia Coggin. She is a blogger. She is a Pilates method instructor, as well as the founder of Mills Method. You can find all that on Instagram. I'll link everything in the show notes. But Amelia and I met a couple of years ago just via social media. So social media does have some good sides, and we've been friends ever since. We actually had her on the podcast in the middle of quarantine, and that is episode number 80. So if you haven't listened to that one, if you like this one, you will love that one. We talk all about embracing curves, talking about workout burnout, healthy snacks. And in this episode today, we are really going deeper into relationships. We're talking about fuckboys. We are talking about dating. We're talking about getting out on the social scene post-quarantine. We're talking about how to find confidence in dating. We're talking all things female relationships as well. So friendships and romantic relationships. We talk about cheating, and definitely letting you guys in on some stories from my past as well. And I just really enjoyed this conversation. It flowed really nicely. We were in her apartment, super fun. And Amelia is just such a badass. And if you follow her on Instagram, or if you don't already, make sure you follow her. It's Amelia Coggin. But again, I'll put everything in the show notes. And before we get into today's episode, I need to tell you my absolute new non-negotiable morning routine: breakfast. All right. So on the days where I'm working out in the morning, or I know I'm going to have a workout that day, or I need to stay fuller for longer, this is the smoothie that I've been doing. All right. So write this down. You're going to need it. I'm telling you. So what I do is a big green protein smoothie with one pear, a big handful of fresh spinach. Fresh is the key here because that's what gives it that beautiful color. I have a fourth of an avocado, just a fourth. You don't need any more than that. The protein and the fat of the protein and the avocado that go together, that's what keeps you really full. And we do 1 scoop of Organifi plant-based vanilla protein. We do 1 full banana and then a handful of mango chunks. And here's the kicker, all right? Cinnamon. We do a dash of cinnamon in there and just water. It is unbelievable. It is my absolute favorite smoothie that I have done maybe ever, just because I love the fact that it's fully balanced. I think it would be really great if you had a blender bomb in there as well, but I think the star of the show is the cinnamon and the organic it's the organic protein powder. And a couple of you guys have messaged me already. You have seen that we have a new show sponsor for the Hotter Than Health podcast. Make sure you guys are switching over to Organifi. So Organifi is a superfood supplement company, and you all know I've been talking about finding the right complete plant protein. I know a lot of people who listen to this podcast are fit, and maybe they're on the go, they're active, or they do smoothies, they do smoothie bowls, but they want to stay a little fuller. Or maybe they're just trying to make sure that they get the right amount of protein or enough protein to stay full and healthy and help to really replenish muscles after their workouts. So that's why I've been doing the Organifi protein vanilla flavor as well as the chocolate flavor. I've tried them both, and this smoothie just did better with vanilla. So I'll tell you the 2 products that I really want to highlight is the organic protein powder and as well as the greens juice. Okay, so my boyfriend loves the greens juice, or the red juice. I love the green juice. So the green juice is something I've been doing for my morning routine now that I don't have a space to juice my juice every single morning. Makes me sad, but the Organifi green juice, it is packed with moringa, spirulina, it's got functional mushrooms, it has all the greens you need, it's got wheatgrass, basically everything that you need nutrition wise to start your day off. So if you can't go out and do the green juice like you may want to every morning, hello Jack. Jack even says he loves it as well. But you guys make sure you're checking out Organifi and use the code HTH for 20% off of all of their products, right? You're not going to find this deal anywhere else. Make sure you're clicking on the link in my either bio on Instagram or in the show notes. Just click the little I for information or see more notes, and you will get 20% off of all of your Organifi products. Again, it is code HTH on Organifi, ORGANIFI.com, and use code HTH for 20% off. And let me know how you like the smoothie. Again, you're going to want to write that down. If you got to rewind it, get the ingredients. It is the best smoothie of all time. A little bit of water, a little bit of ice, and you will never go back. You will never change your ingredients. Jack really needs to go out and have his green smoothie as well, don't you, bud? But either way, thank you guys so much for listening. And again, I am open for nutrition consultation as well as one-on-one personal nutrition counseling. I'm still offering a 12-week program. If you're interested in that, go ahead and book on my website. And if that seems like too much of a commitment for you right now, you can always sign up for the monthly meal plan, as well as that comes with the Zoom nutrition experience. We're going to be deep diving into some nutrition talk and Q&As and just more personal accessibility with the monthly meal plan. So check those both out on the website. And without further ado, let's get into this awesome conversation with Amelia. So the last time we spoke on the podcast, you were not single. Well, you were kind of single.
I was kind of single. I think my ex-boyfriend had just moved out of my apartment. We were in quarantine.
That's what it was.
It was kind of like a sad girl summer for me. I was living alone, single for the first time. I was developing my Pilates method. So yeah, so much has changed in the last year.
So you were developing Mill's method. And I had never even met you in person. I was just like, oh, she has a cute Instagram and she lives in Charleston. Like, let's chat. And we didn't even chat in person because I was so mortified of my setup. I was just like, we can Skype because
and
that's
nothing was even open. Like, it was, people were so scared and staying home and like everything was closed. It was crazy.
That was in the height of COVID. That was definitely in the height of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, y'all can look back at the first episode and it's going to be a very different episode. So
it's so different.
I wanted to talk to you about, because you and I have since become friends, and now I just know there are certain friends in your life that come into your life for a specific reason. And some are like your friend to party with. Some are your friends that are like dating when you're not dating. Some are friends for whatever. And I think we came into each other's lives right as I was getting into a relationship and you were getting out of one. So now I can like live vicariously through you. So your boyfriend moved out of your apartment. What was that like? I remember you told me some like bullshit about him living there and it just frustrated me.
Yeah, it was crazy because it was all during quarantine. So it's not like I could go out with my friends and go and have fun and do what everyone tells you to do when you're going through a breakup. It was just like I couldn't go home to my family. It was just like I was forced to be isolated and alone and like really get to know myself for the first time in a very long time. Like I was the type of person who would jump from relationship to relationship. So I didn't really know what it felt like to be alone, live alone, which was just like a crazy time.
Well, so background, how old are you right now?
I'm 27.
You're 27 now. And you said you had been in relationship. Does that mean you were in relationships for years, months? Do you think that you were like, how long did you go between relationships, or were they overlapping? Like,
my first relationship started when I was in high school, and that lasted like 6 years. And then I spent the next 2 years kind of just like in long-term flings with guys I still kind of talk to and I'm friends with now. And then I got into my last relationship, which lasted like 4 years. So like, you know, I love a long-term relationship.
But I love that. And why do you think you love a long-term relationship?
I just love being with one person. Like, I feel like I'm very loyal to the people in my life, like even my friends too. Like if I like someone, like I don't really need, like I like just being with one person. Like I've never been that girl to like want to build their roster, which I think is great. And it's kind of like trending now. Like everyone's going through a breakup. It's hot girl summer. You're building your roster, but that stresses me out.
For those who don't know, building your roster means like you have dicks in a list. Like, you
yes,
are
dicks in a list. I love that.
it's very call her daddy-esque. And
yes, and I just can't keep up with it. Like, building a business and having all of the dicks on a list, like, I can't, like, my list is already too long. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have time. Like, and that's just stressful to me. And Charleston's such a small town. I feel like if you're dating one guy, like, and he's dating 3 other girls, like, you probably know them. So I don't really date a lot of guys that live here.
Has that happened to you? What's been your closest call with, and let's take a step back. So if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you're somewhere in the US, you're in California, Charleston, Charlotte, or we had some people from Australia. I had some people from South Africa message me the other day, and I was like, okay, South African men, like, come at me. Not me, because I'm in a relationship, but they're just beautiful. But if you're listening to this, and well, exactly, Amelia is single. But if you're listening to this and you are not in Charleston, just to give you a bit of background, the ratios of men to women are, what is it, like 4-1?
Yeah, and it's like, I dated the same guy for 4
yeah.
years, so I knew all of his friends. Like, I know all of the friend groups. I know all of the friends. I know who they've hooked up with. Like, everyone knows everyone, and I also have a very specific type, and I don't think my type is necessarily, like, a super Southern man.
I completely agree with you. I found, like, a Southern Spartanburg man that looks Miami and a little Guido, and it's
I didn't know
I
he
love
was
it.
from Spartanburg at all.
Exactly. If you look at him, he's like chains, cuts, t-shirts.
Yeah.
The jeans are kind of tight, and I'm like, oh, yes, this is good.
Yeah, it's just nothing against it. I just don't think it's for me. And I mean, I come from a very Southern traditional background, so I don't know, but that's just not the type of guy I'm necessarily attracted to. I feel like I have a very specific type.
Okay, let's so in manifestation, it's really important to first get very clear on your on what you want. Let's get clear. Okay, so what's your list?
They all look the same. I mean, it's like
like
sick.
Tattoos.
6'8".
6'8".
Not the tattoos are kind of like, I don't know. I definitely date guys like that have tattoos and don't have tattoos. They're usually like very small town, down to earth guys, like not very materialistic, and I love like a very chill, laid back guy that just kind of lets me do me. Just because like my friends, my family, my life, it can be just a lot. So having someone in my life that's very chill and just down to earth.
Goes with the flow.
Yeah, goes with the flow, isn't really agitated by things. Like that's usually my type.
But do you need them to be funny? Do you need them to be tall? Do you need them to like be super ambitious? Do you care if they just kind of have a 9-to-5 or that's fine?
They never really have a 9-to-5. They usually live like a kind of chaotic lifestyle.
We were talking about this
They're
before.
all very tall.
They're professional athletes.
Not all. I mean, I just started dating again like in January. So I don't know. I guess I'm kind of finding my type again, what I like. And that's just kind of, I like a guy that's very independent and has his own thing going on separate from mine. Like I've tried dating the guys that are very into what I do and are like, I want to do this workout, like work me out, like meal prep with me, like do all these things with me. But that's what I do for a living and what I put online to hundreds of people every day. I don't necessarily want to be with someone that shares every single interest as mine. Like I want someone who has a life of their own, is doing their own thing, and that we can kind of complement each other's lives. Like I feel like that's really been the healthiest guy for me to date as of lately. There's a lot of pressure. I feel like especially at my age, 27, and I was in a relationship for so long, people were like, okay, when are you getting engaged? When are you getting married? Like, this is what you do at that age. And people were shocked when we broke up because people were like, and I mean, people in the South have no shame. It's like, you're 27, like your time is ticking. And even as a child, like I remember being 10 years old being like, I don't see myself settling down and having kids in my 20s. And everyone around me was just like, that's crazy. Like I want to have kids right when I'm out of college. And I think everybody should just kind of stay on their own timeline and do what they feel is right for them, because I'm so much happier now that I'm not living my life on paper and doing things that I thought everybody else wanted me to do and just sticking by that timeline. Like my timeline is different than everyone else's, and I know that, and I'm so much happier.
Do you feel like, I feel like a lot of guys, they wouldn't even look at a woman who was their age. They want younger girls. And I definitely don't understand that, because I really feel like that's almost a toxic masculinity trait. And here I am dating an older man, but like, I feel like that's almost a toxic masculinity trait where they almost want that built-in superiority. And I'm very women support women. I totally am women empowerment, but I also believe that it's nice to feel, I like feeling like someone's got me, but I don't want it to be a necessity. I want it to just be a feeling almost.
It's funny you say that because I've only been dating younger guys.
Wait, we did talk about this. You were like, I remember you said this. I'm putting you
on kook. Like I've never like dated a younger guy in my life until I just started dating again, and I really like it. It's just a different generation. Like, I feel like when I was dating older guys, there was just so much expectation of like how a home is supposed to be and kind of the roles that a man and a woman are supposed to play. And dating these younger guys, I think they kind of see me as more of like an equal. And I don't like it when I'm dating a guy and they want to give me all of this business advice and kind of guide me in this. I don't need a father figure. Like, I don't need that. I feel like.
And if I want it, I will ask.
Yeah. Like, I love confiding in my partner, asking them questions, things like that, getting their advice, but I don't want to be told what to do. And I don't know, I don't find it very attractive when a guy is like in their mid to late 30s and they're still going out with their boys 4 nights a week. Like, you've been doing this for 15 years, whereas a younger guy, I feel like
it's time for skincare.
Have a timeline. They know when they want to settle down. They know when they want to have kids. It's just kind of what I'm vibing with right now, and it kind of goes against social norms, but I don't care. I'm just living my life.
Okay. This is almost going to be a Q&A type situation. Okay. So I want to hear, okay, so you're 27, you're a girl living in Charleston. Let's just say that there's a girl, Becky, and she is your age, living in Charleston, and she really wants to find a boyfriend, but gone on a ton of dates, just coming out of COVID, and wants to build her confidence while going on dates. What would your first step be to like having big dick energy, confidence, and really being yourself on a first date if you're nervous?
It's hard because I don't think the two are intertwined. Like, I am so thankful that I did go through that breakup during quarantine and I wasn't dating because I needed to be alone. Like, I think that confidence comes from within. If you're not confident and you're dating and you're looking for that external validation from other people, you're never going to get it. Like, people are up, people are down, people are in good moods, bad moods. Like, if you're constantly looking to other people for validation, especially on social media or dating, like, it doesn't matter how many likes I get on a photo. Like, I post it because I like it and I feel like I look good. Like, I don't give a shit how many people comment on it or like it or how many DMs I get. Like, I'm putting things out there because I feel good about them. Like, I feel like when you go into a date, you should already know that in yourself. Like, and if you don't vibe with the person, you don't vibe. But at the end of the day, like, maybe you made a new friend. I'm not a big like serial dater. Honestly, it stressed me out so much. Like, in the beginning of the year, my friends were like, get on the apps, like, go on all these dates. And like, I really don't like it. Like, I really like going out and meeting people organically. And now I'm thankful we can do that more, and just because I feel like you can kind of vibe with the other person's energy. But building confidence really comes from spending time alone, like going on dates with yourself, fixing dinner by yourself, watching movies by yourself, like being alone. I think that I've been hearing this quote going around, and it was just talking about how bettering yourself gets really lonely, and it's the truth. Like, I don't get better when I'm going on a bender and I'm going out 5 nights a week and I'm going on all these dates and looking for that external validation, because no one's perfect. We all do this.
It's literally like you're chasing the high.
Yeah.
You're chasing the high constantly, and then the come down is really tough.
Yeah. So if you're constantly seeking out that validation, like, it's just not going to go well for you. So I think when you're dating, just know what you bring to the table and what you're looking for in someone else. Yeah, like, walk in the room, like, don't walk in a room being nervous, being like, oh my God, like, I don't think my outfit's good. He's not going to like me.
People don't give 1/4 of a fuck about your outfit.
Yeah, don't speak that into existence. Like, don't even put that energy out there. Like, walk in the room like, I know what I bring to the table. Like, I'm going to have fun on this date. Like, I'm going to get to know this new person. Yeah, and it's just, I think, like, having more fun in life and the things that you do,
I heard Kim Cattrall the other day. She's Samantha from Sex and the City, by the way. I'm bogarting that show. Not bogarting. I'm what is the word I'm thinking of? I'm
pro. Oh my God, I know what you're saying.
I'm not not protesting, but I'm not supporting Sex in the City right now because I was never a huge fan of Carrie Bradshaw. I thought she was the most narcissistic. I loved her clothing, but there was something about her. I just remember her being like, I'm sorry. Sarah Jessica Parker, I'm sure, is a great person, but Carrie Bradshaw's character.
Yeah, you're coming for her.
She always used to be like, I hope she listens to this. Post me on your social. But I remember in one podcast, and she's so fucking tone deaf sometimes. She was like, all of her friends were like, oh my God, I had a miscarriage. Or one of her other friends said, I have cancer. One of her other friends said, I'm getting a divorce. She goes, I'm lonely. And the world stops revolving because Carrie is lonely. And I was like, I've
never seen Carrie from this perspective, and you're kind of right. You're changing
I'm sorry.
It's
always, I'm sorry to do this, but anyways, we all know that Samantha carried that show. I love Sex and the City. I will continue to watch the reruns, but I just can't do the new one without Kim Cattrall. Anyways, I digress. But she said, I don't want to go 1 hour of my life without having fun. And so she finds fun, so fun right now.
You really can find it. Like, not everything has to be so serious. Like, that's why I created my method in the first place. And not to just randomly bring that up, but when I was working out, like, I was working a 9 to 5. I was so miserable, so drained emotionally, physically. Then I would go to the gym, work out in this dark room, music blaring, and with people screaming at me like, you have to push yourself, you have to go as hard as you can, you have to lift as heavy as you can. And it's like, oh my God, like, I was having no fun. Like, where was the fun? And so when I was working out, I was like, I want 30 minutes of just fun. Like, I want to have fun in whatever I'm doing. Like, if I'm working, I can be focused and still be enjoying what I'm doing. When I'm working out, I can still laugh and have fun and feel like I'm working out with my friends, So just bringing more of that to life, I feel like, is so important.
I would also like to say, I am so into Mill's method, and I think that I'm more into it now than I was when you first started. I think that you had your idea and your concept.
It was a little baby.
But it had to be.
We're walking and talking now.
We're walking and talking, like,
still got a ways to go.
Still stumbling a little bit, but then we're going to run.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's growing so rapidly. It's beautiful, and I'm obsessed with it. Anyways,
thank you.
But we'll put a link in the bio and the show notes, and she's all over social. You know who she is. Anyways, so what it was more lengthening. It was more Pilates, and I think that's what you needed. I was telling someone the other day how I became very resentful of my intense workouts and weights and all these things because I had gone for years being screamed at, compared, and I was like,
oh my God, the comparison where you have to be this bodybuilder and build all this muscle and all of this protein. Like, just embrace the feminine shape. Like,
I would tell, and I like don't have as much of a feminine shape. Like, I'm very proud of my body, but I'm not like a curvy person, which, I mean, if I could choose, then I'm like, I'd have some tits and I'd have a bigger ass. Like,
it doesn't mean you have to be a bodybuilder.
Exactly.
Either. Like, just embrace your natural shape that you were born with.
And I'm like, what can I do to accentuate how I actually am, how I look, and still be healthy? But I remember I went on such a polarized journey. I was literally doing these intense workouts, having people say, oh, this other coach, like, her butt's starting to get bigger than yours, or, oh my God, whatever coach, so-and-so coach was lifting heavier than you in your demos today, or so-and-so coach was lifting heavy. I was like, oh my God, I
was so over that.
Yes. And so that was happening all the time. And I knew it was never meant in a way to, like, bring me down. They probably would be shocked if I was talking about it still to this day, but it hit me. Like, I remember those. And so I was just doing low intensity walking, feeling so good. And then I was like, okay, I miss it. After I gave myself like a much needed break, now I'm back to lifting heavy sprints, but then today I did Pilates. So now I can find my balance.
Finding that balance. Yeah. So that's why I have the HIIT and strength on there too.
Yeah.
And then the Pilates, but I still do a lot of lengthening, a lot of stretching, just because it's so important and so good for the body. Like, you're born with one spine, you have 2 knees, and like, your joints are meant to last you the rest of your life. Like,
and you want to do something that you can do all throughout your life, which is
mindful of the stress that you're putting on your spine and your joints and your body. Like, these have to last you for decades, and I feel like people just kind of forget that, and they just go hard and
well, I see your workouts,
their bodies,
and they look so approachable. They don't like, and you could challenge the weight anytime you want. So people could do these with body weight. People could use them. So what is the Mills method? Elevator pitch. Tell us why we need it. I love it so much.
Mills method. So I'm certified in mat Pilates. I used to teach cardio kickboxing for 3 years at a gym called Gripbox, and I just realized my body was so stressed and so inflamed, and I just wasn't getting the ideal body that I wanted, but I was spending hours in the gym every single day, and I was like, this isn't fun. I don't want to live my life like this. And the less stress I started putting on my body and just taking like 30 minutes before work in the morning and just rolling out my mat and getting in a little, Pilates on YouTube or a little sculpt, the more I just saw my body starting to change and the weight just falling off. And it was inflammation and my hormones evening out and my body just saying, like, thank you for chilling the fuck out. Like, you just need to calm down and do what feels good. And I mean, I was so strong and so balanced. Like, I was never good at any body weight exercises. Even when I was lifting super heavy, my body was just so imbalanced and I didn't know how to activate, certain areas of my glutes or my arms, and just learning that control in the body and connecting the mind, the body, and the breath. Like, I want people to leave my workouts feeling like they just took a big, deep breath and like the weight has been lifted off their shoulders. That's the feeling that I wanted. Like, and then some workouts, the cardio Pilates sculpt, I want people to feel like they just left the club dancing with their friends. Like, I want to get those feel good endorphins up, but I don't want to take you to a place where you're lying on the floor for 30 minutes and you feel like you just freaking died. Like, I don't think we always need to go there. So finding that balance and offering an affordable platform that people can do anywhere. Like, there's girls that travel for a living and they're constantly on the go and they're finding it so hard to have any balance in their life. Like, I want them to be able to open their laptop and be like, all right, I can get in this 20-minute workout and feel so good. And keeping it affordable, keeping it, people can do it with equipment, no equipment.
It's
that
also,
was really my goal.
it's aesthetically pleasing too. The branding is beautiful,
Thank you.
So you created this because you had a need and you were like, if I have a need, other people will have a need.
Other girls were reaching out. So I started my blog, I guess about like 7 years ago, and kind of built my online platform on there. And that was the way that I connected with people. And I'm constantly talking to girls about, their health and wellness routine. And I was hearing the same thing. Like, these girls were killing themselves in the gym and not seeing the results they wanted. And trainers were blaming it on their macros and all of these crazy things. And
More
they're out
stress.
here measuring every single meal they eat. I mean, my God, like, it's so stressful and so time consuming. Like, you should just be able to eat a meal and feel fine about it. It's just too much. And so listening to all these things for, the past 8 to 10 years and just absorbing everything that I was hearing, I was like, all right, it's go time. Like, I feel like I have the tools to really build something that could help people change their lives.
I love that. And you were doing it like you were literally just responding. You were just responding.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why it's grown so beautifully and organically. And that's also why you're continuing to evolve and build these new workouts, like with the HIIT, with the everything. Because I think it's nice, especially for those people who are super competitive. Not everyone wants to be in their head, but like, it is nice to have that mixture. So where do you see Mills Method going? Like, where do you want it to be in a year?
I definitely want to keep growing the online community. I want to be doing a few more in-person pop-ups, I think, maybe some collaborations. I have some dream brands in mind that I'd love to work with, and just keep on growing the online community, building out my studio, better mic, better camera, better lighting, that type of thing, and just keep filming my workouts and putting them out there. I like where I'm going and the direction I'm going, and I hope to help even more people in the next year.
As you will. So, as that's business, that's career, amazing. And I still want to hear more about dating. I want to hear more about this because so many people, obviously we're coming out of quarantine. Some people like are going back into lockdown. Yeah. Some people just need some levity. So so first off, you broke up with your boyfriend and then you were kind of dating around. First of all, I loved dating. I thought it was so fun.
Oh my God.
But
I spent 6 months alone. I was like, I can't deal with this.
Well, so I'm kind of like you where I would like have I'm like a serial flinger if I'm not dating, but I considered myself very single. Like, I never had a boyfriend it was 8 months and I didn't have a boyfriend. And the minute that I was on dating apps randomly, and the minute that I was like, I don't need anyone. Like at the minute I was like, I'm having so much fun, I'm so happy, is when I met my boyfriend. And that's like how it always happens, where you don't want it. So so obviously you said you had a type. Talk to me about some of the things that you see in men right now that you're really vibing with, that you really like, and then what are some things that you see on dates or on dating apps or on DMs that you're like, you don't need to be doing this, sir?
I mean, it's so gross, but like 90% of my DMs, I feel like the guys have a girlfriend. It's like the girlfriend in the first picture of their Instagram. Like, I don't know what is in the water these days, but like, it's so gross. And like the fact that they think that girls would actually respond to them is so disgusting to me.
Well, the thing is that girls do. So let's not discount
I will
that.
literally write them back. I literally have screenshots in my phone because I'm like, hey, like, isn't that your girlfriend tagged in your literal Instagram bio?
What do they say?
They say, oh, we have an interesting relationship or something like that. And I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
And I know her.
Yeah, it's like, what's wrong with you? Like, the fact that they think it's okay to do this is just...
Have you ever, and I have to ask you this just to humor me here, have you ever been cheated on, or have you ever cheated?
I've never cheated, but yeah, I've like dated a guy, not my most recent relationship, but I've dated a guy and he literally had like a whole other girlfriend back home, like a whole other relationship.
How?
Yeah.
How do men do this? Anyone do this?
I mean, that's a lot of juggling emotions and people. Like, I could never do that. I can't even like date more than one person at a time. It's stressful for me. So
oh my God,
I don't know.
I remember I was cheated on in my first relationship, and he was hooking up with a girl that I knew, and this was in I remember, total caveat here. I remember I went to go visit him. He went to University of South Carolina. I was a senior in high school and he was a freshman. I guess I didn't realize how much of a party school USC was. And I went to move him in. I had gotten my wisdom teeth taken out on a Thursday.
Oh my God.
I went to move him in on a Saturday in Columbia in the summer. So I was like schlepping like a pack mule.
God.
No. Okay, it gets better.
Oh my God, this is so sad.
Oh, it's horrific. I was moving him in. We go to bed that night, and he was like rushing a fraternity. I think he was moving dorms or something. I can't remember what it was. And he was rushing a fraternity, being everyone's little bitch boy.
Frat
and
star.
It was so, but like very cringy. He was trying to be cool by like fighting. It was stupid. And they were having a mixer that night. And I was like, oh, don't you want to go? And he was like, no, it doesn't seem that fun. And I was like, it's weird that you don't want to go to this thing. It's like, this is your whole life right now.
Yeah.
Why don't you want to go to this thing? And it was a mixer with another sorority.
Oh my God.
Woodstock theme. And we went to bed early. Of course, we had been fighting the whole day because we always do. And we were sleeping on the top bunk. He had like a lofted bunk. So he had this little desk under the bed. It's 1 a.m. and there's a knock on the door. Quick interruption to tell you all about today's show sponsor. Thank you so much to BetterHelp. So BetterHelp is an online therapy center. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. So the great things about BetterHelp are that you can connect in a safe and private environment online. You can do video conferencing, you can do phone, you can message your therapist, and you can start communicating in as little as 48 hours. This was such a seamless process. I actually have my first appointment today, and I'm so excited for it. Remember, this is not a crisis line. It's not a self-help line. This is professional counseling, and it's done securely online, right? So you can send a message to your counselor at any time, and you'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video sessions, phone sessions, and you can do all of this without ever having to leave your house or sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches so they can make it super easy and free to change the counselor if you need to. This is more affordable than other traditional offline counseling, and of course, there is financial aid available. So, this service is available to clients worldwide, and this is great for if you are focusing on relationships, if you're struggling with stress, depression, anxiety, trauma, LGBTQ matters, anger, family conflicts, and even things like career. So everything is going to be confidential. Everything is completely professional. I am actually so thrilled to have them as our show sponsor today. So make sure you guys check out BetterHelp. All right. So you can go to betterhelp.com/hotterthanhealth. All right. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp. HELP.com/hotterthanhealth, and you can get 10% off of your first month. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss this. You can get an amazing therapist who fits your needs and your convenience in under 48 hours. Again, it is betterhelp.com/hotterthanhealth. All right, let's get back to today's show. And so he goes to get the door, and the room is so small. I can see this little pipsqueak girl.
And she showed up on the doorstep.
She showed up at the doorstep like
no, girl.
like a little squirrel trying to get a nut, and knocks on the door. And all he does, he opens it so that like barely his lips are poking out.
Oh
He's
my
like,
God.
he goes,
I would have jumped out that bed and pried that door open.
Do you know what he said? I could hear him. He was basically whispering, and I had my like bionic hearing. He goes, "You can't be here right now." I am telling you.
Did you like completely lose it? Did you have like a crazy
all the
moment?
blood drained from my face. This is how toxic and abusive this relationship was, and I was still like about to be in college.
Yeah.
I was scared to say what I knew had to say because I knew he would try and fight me on it. It would become an argument, even though I was like, he's cheating on me.
You just get broken down after a while.
So broken down. Pathetic little thing.
Did you break up with him after this?
That was the last weekend.
You took out
I
the
believe
trash.
I had to sleep there because I didn't know where else to go.
Yeah.
I just knew. My instinct was he doesn't want to go to this party. Why? Doesn't he want to introduce me to his friends? Like, I know I look like a squirrel right now because I just have my wisdom teeth
I'm very
taken out.
adamant on meeting the friends like first thing up. Like when I start talking to a new guy, like the friend group can tell you so much about the guy, like who he hangs out with and what type of friends he has. Like I like after I go on even just a couple dates with a guy, I'm like, all right, like I have to meet the friends.
Yeah. Now that we're kind of out of it, I don't want to jinx anything, and don't come at me, please, dear God. I don't want to hear it. This is not that kind of podcast. Leave a review if you want to, make it 5 stars, and you can comment and bitch all you want. But I want to know, what would you say was the most transformational if you hadn't been cooped up during quarantine while you were single and kind of going through your self-development? What would you be doing? Like if you had just become single now and like the world is open, you can go to bars, you can go out with friends. What are some things that you would be doing?
Healthy or unhealthy?
Both. Oh my God, both.
I think if I was in like an unhealthy phase, I would have been going out, going on a bender, not necessarily sleeping around, but just like going out too much, being a little bit too social. And then healthy, like I think the healthiest thing I did last year when I was alone was really like put my all into work and let my work really build me up, which was an awesome feeling. Like making your own money, building your own business, or really just excelling in your career, I think as a woman is just such a good feeling. Like it just builds you up more than like any like man giving you compliments. Like the fact that you can build yourself up is just, you're going to go into any new relationship with a whole new kind of confidence.
What about other than career, and let's say you're like pretty stable in your career, but you don't really want to fuck with that, like you're still climbing the ladder, whatever. What about books? What about skincare? What about workouts or food, cooking? What are some things that you would say, like meditating?
Gabrielle Bernstein's freaking awesome. If anyone hasn't checked her out, you need to read her books. It's a lot about manifestation, and she goes into, there's a book called Super Attractor, which kind of goes into a little more detail about her spiritual side. And even if you don't, you know, believe in God, it's still, she refers to it as the universe and just kind of this overall power that is there, but we don't necessarily know what it is. Tapping into that and really getting into more gratitude, thinking about what you're thankful for, accepting where you're at right now, knowing where you want to go, but just being more content with where you're at and who you are as a person. Working on that positive self-talk is so good. And working on yourself, like getting your body right, getting your mind right, and then in your career, you know, getting your money right. Like, I think those three things are so powerful to do, and you just excel at them when you're alone. Like, it's great to be with another person, but working on yourself when you're alone, it's just, you just skyrocket, because that's where all your energy is going, you know. And the more you put energy into something, the more it's going to grow. It's like, you know, watering a plant. That's like, think of yourself as like a seed, and you're putting more energy into it, and you're doing the self-care, you're taking care of your skin, you're not over drinking or overeating, and you know, you're really putting time into looking up new recipes that are going to nourish your body and make you feel good.
Like having
that's
on
going to build you up.
having on good podcasts like this one, having on audiobooks in the kitchen, having on nice music instead of just TV. Not saying that that's, you can't have that, and sometimes that's like a nice guilty pleasure, but like passive productivity is one of my favorite things. Is just, you know, walking with a podcast, grabbing your coffee, like you're getting your steps in, you're moving. I think that movement is so huge. Like some of my some of my best ideas and my biggest inspirations happen when I'm moving or working out.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know?
When I walk or when I run, it sounds really weird, but I'm literally like visualizing like what I want my life to be, what I see myself doing in my work and my future family one day. Like, I'm visualizing all of this stuff. Like,
there's nothing better.
Yeah.
It's literally daydreaming.
It really works. Like, it's crazy.
Okay, so that's obviously for the single girl who's working on herself. Now, I want to come at it from a perspective, and just for anybody who is in a relationship, I do feel, and I get this way because I'm obsessed with working and achieving and doing these things, even on days where I'm not super busy, like quote unquote busy. My days look different from other people's days. I get that. Like, my day might not start until 12, but then I'm all in it when I'm doing, you know.
Same, yeah.
And it's different every day.
Yeah.
For someone who is wanting to work on themselves, I feel like sometimes when we're in relationships, we sometimes lose ourselves, or
it's really hard. I'm trying to find out how to balance that, because in my last relationship, I was kind of growing my business, but it wasn't what it is right now. And I was kind of off and on with the same guy for the last like few months, and learning how to balance like being in a relationship and building my business. It was really hard. Like, now I'm just kind of like, okay, I think I just need to be single and work on my business, because I don't know how to balance them both.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
It's really hard. And I think that it's not one of those things where I'm saying break up with your boyfriend and go do your thing.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many beautiful things and support that comes from your relationship. I think that you also have to look at, are you getting support? Do you feel supported? Do you feel,
that's so true.
You know, like, you can be individuals and have your own lives, but still have that support. And so I know I'm very lucky with that, but at the same time, I know that it's so important. If I wasn't with him, I would be alone. I would be single.
Yeah.
So I'm doing small things. And this is for any girl out there who's in a relationship who wants to like still have her self-development, still have her independence, and feel like, but not in a way that's reclusive of your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Personally, like, I have some of my best friends in Arizona still from when I moved, and I miss it. I miss it out there so much. I like Charleston a lot, but I'm not married to it. I've always said that.
Same.
And so what I'm doing is I was like, okay, I'm going to set up 2 or 3 podcast interviews for going out there. I'm going to go out there for 4 days, got a cheap Airbnb, renting a car, and I'm just like gonna be out there for 4 days, and I'm not making plans. I'm going to one dinner. I'm going to go like check out gyms. I'm going to do what I would do if I was single without going out with dudes. And that is one thing. I am so excited, even if I see my friends for one night and that's it. Like, having that alone time that you prioritize. So even if you're like, if you live with your partner, you both work at home, it's so tough. See if you can take a week remote. or see if you can take 3 days remote or a long
Yeah.
weekend and go to a spa day for yourself. Like,
Yeah, do things for yourself.
and you
Have
can,
your own interests.
yeah,
Like, I don't think your partner has to be interested in every single thing that you're interested in. Like, I just
no.
don't. Like, I think it's fun to have people with different interests that can maybe introduce you to new things or thoughts or ideas. And a guy, I really respect a guy that has his own life, his own friends, his own career. Like, those are the type of guys that I've been dating and I've just been vibing.
Let's talk about friendships also. There are a lot of women who, and I have struggled with this. I've gotten in arguments with friends, and because I've had to put up boundaries and whatever, I think it's fine to make new friends, but I also think it's good to foster other relationships. I also think it's okay to let go of relationships that aren't serving you anymore. So
Yeah.
when you are, we have women who are, age 19 all the way to 40 who listen to this. We have some men. When it comes to friendships, what are some things that, have you ever gone through a situation where you've had to reduce time with a friendship, or
Oh, God, yeah.
friends that you've had for a long, long time, or like how do you develop new friendships?
Yeah, quarantine changed a lot for me. In the last 2 years, I've changed. Like, I've had to kind of, I don't want to say disassociate, but just distance myself from certain people. Ended a long relationship, changed my career. Like, if you don't like your life, girl, you can change it, and it's gonna be scary.
It's not written in stone.
Yeah, some of these friends I had been friends with for 10 years, and some of my new friends were, kind of seeing things from an outsider's point of view. Like, this person does not support you. This person is nothing but negativity in your life and bringing you down. And once you get those people out of your life is so much more clear. Like, it's really scary, but if someone is doing nothing but bringing negative energy into your life, and if you go out with them, you feel drained and exhausted, like, you don't need them in your life. You need people in your life that are going to charge you up.
More about this at dinner tonight. You guys, we're going to go to Stella's and get cocktails.
Yes.
So,
Eliza's going to want all the details on the men I've been talking about.
I just want to hear about the sex. So I just want to hear about the sex. Sorry, my dad listens to this podcast. So I want to hear about all of the relationships and all of the stupid shit that men have been doing. Before you leave, what is your favorite, like, you are just so put together, like, her socks are matching,
Oh my
her
God.
like her
No,
whole
I'm literally
neutral
in
vibe.
sweatpants, you guys.
I knew she would say this. I always am like, oh, well, you look so cute. She's like, oh my God, I'm literally so casual. I'm wearing nothing. I'm like, no. Your casual and my casual are very different.
Aw.
So what is your favorite, like, trending item right now, whether it be skincare, clothing, favorite trending item, and then favorite resource?
I'm very into clothing right now. I feel like my style is changing so much. I'm just so much more chill. Like, I love going out in just like sweatpants. I'm into sneakers right now. And then just like a trucker's hat. I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I am who I am, take it or leave it. Like, I love dressing up, but
If I showed up wearing that, I would look like Britney Spears shaved her head at a trailer park.
I don't even care. Like, that's what people probably say about me here in Charleston. Like, the way I go to the coffee shops around here, like, people probably see me in person and they're like, my God, who is
But like,
that?
she's also the kind of person, let's just put this into perspective and paint the picture. She's like, the Air Forces are clean. Everything is clean. Everything is ironed. Everything looks good, but it is casual. I like that.
I just like love the loose jeans look, and a lot of people hate them, but like, I love being comfortable these days, and I don't care.
You're
Like,
wearing
I am
it
who I
so
am.
fucking well. It looks
Oh my
so
God,
good.
thank you.
And then what is your favorite resource for health, wellness, inspiration, nutrition? Favorite resource other than Hotter Than Health?
I know, I was about to say, I love your posts and all of your recipes and things like that. What have I been into? I'm doing a lot of gluten-free stuff right now, and for a long time I felt like I gave up pasta, and now I'm just obsessed. Like, I'm obsessed with, I think it's called Ancient Harvest. Isn't it Ancient Harvest? All of their gluten-free pasta is so good. It sounds like this is an ad right now, but
It's so
for
good.
so long I had such a negative connotation with pasta. Like, back in the day, like, people were just like, pasta makes you fat or whatever. Like, I'm on a freaking worldwide gluten-free pasta tour.
I
Like,
love
I'm
it so
tearing
much.
it up. I'm doing all these pesto recipes. Like, I love some cashew basil pesto. I feel like you can just have so much fun with healthy recipes these days.
Agreed.
So don't shy away from the gluten-free pasta. It's where it's at.
I agree. Anytime I make soup, I put pasta, like my own added pasta, even if it's just a cup.
It's my obsession.
It's amazing. And who doesn't love fucking pasta? Wow.
And then celery juice in the morning. That's my number one. It's done so many good things for my skin.
Because I'm telling you, it's good for your skin because you're like pooping and eliminating so many extra estrogens and bullshits that are.
I do the ginger and the lemon with it too.
So good. All right. Thank you so much for your time. We love you. You're the best.
And thank you for having me on again.
Yeah, we'll do this again. See you in a second.
Thank you.